Recording, you need extra light, we good? You got my good side? Everybody's good, right? Okay. Everybody knows why we're here, so this is gonna be all about the contract, okay? We also, tomorrow, we have our division meeting over at Collier Avenue, 11 a.m., 7 p.m. Please come. I wish we had this many people at the division meeting. We definitely need more attendance at the division meeting. Okay, so I'm going to pass this on to Richie Davis, the VP of Map Stove.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. First of all, welcome to Kingsbridge Shop Meets and normal routine parts, except for this time, John Sampson is here to actually address the contract, the main table portion of it. A lot of the flyers that you have handed out talking about the highlights. For the departmentals, we're not really going to go into that much. Tomorrow we talk about the division meeting and the departmental map store, but there are some that's touched on this on the flyer, and of course John will go on and explain everything. We're going to limit when we open the floor to the questions. There'll be one question per person, and part of it that you must be for Kingsbridge Depot because we want to make sure we maintain the shop for the Kingsbridge personnel, maintenance, transportation, both. But before John gets started, I will introduce the people up here to you so you know who they are. At the very end, Division Chair for the Bronx is Anthony Marshall, Mike Wren, Division Chair for Maintenance, Jim Burrell staff, Donna Yates, Division 1 Chairman, Terrence Harmon, the staff for Division 1, Angelo Crispin from Tuskegee, the Chairman from Tuskegee, Wayne Ruffin, and of course Richie Fields, Chairman for Kingsbridge, and Felix Olivio from Olivo. Flex. From Kingsbridge, Robin Hines, who's hiding in the crowd for some reason, even though he'll come up here and stand up here with the crowd. From here, Kingsbridge, and Monique somewhere floating around. Okay, hope I didn't miss an officer. Of course, I can't forget my good friend Cataram. I don't know where he's standing at. He's supposed to be up here with me. From Maintenance Vice Chair. Where you at, Cataram? Come up here, come up here. You gotta stand up here with us. Can't stand back there. Come, and of course, Harry Goodwin Seymour. Okay, staff of Division 1. Nick Bedell, Education Director, and I think that's it. I hope I didn't miss anybody if I do at the end. Lau, of course, Lau for West Farms Chair, and Howie, Recorder Secretary for the Division, and the Vice Chair for West Farms at the same time. Thank you very much. And Tom Lenny for Maintenance. Okay? Thank you. Without further ado, John Sampson.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. So, we've arrived at a place where we have a contract that the executive committee and the executive board of the union believes has enough economic value in this contract to present to the membership. I just want to go through it a little bit and then perhaps go back to where we were at in the hotel to actually put some context as to how we arrived where we're at. Now, we have 2.5% wage increases, 2.5, 2.5, again, over 13 months. And then after that, we have a $500 bonus with an additional 2 months. So how do we get, that's not the cleanest contract that we've ever seen here, although there have been contracts that have mirrored things like this along the lines, but I just want to talk about how we got there. I think most importantly is that we've arrived at a place where the wage increases and the economic value exceed inflation. The wage increases unto themselves exceed inflation, and then the other economic value infused into the contract, along with some of the benefit improvements, particularly dental improvements, then really begin to exceed inflation. So in the hotel, we bargained the entire leadership of the union, the entire executive committee of the union, and by the way, I don't think that's ever been done before, where the executive committee of the union and other high-level officers were actually in the nerve center, the union's nerve center in the hotel, back and forth, going back and forth, debating what the MTA's latest proposals were. And we did that a few different times in the hotel. So the MTA started off with demands that we take 2.5% wage increases over 30 months. 2.5 with 6 months of zeros. That was unacceptable to us. Over the progression of the discussion, it went down to 2.5 over 28 months. It was unacceptable to us. It wasn't enough money in the deal for us. As we continued to talk, Latanya Chrisaray, our recording secretary, just walked in. Earl Phillips, our secretary treasurer from OA Maintenance, just walked in. Spent some time working in KB. So as we went through the night and approached the deadline, we had a determination to do two things. Fight against any kind of concession package, which we were successful in doing. Fight to get wages that exceeded inflation, which we were successful in doing, and then add as much economic value into the deal as we possibly could. And there is economic value in this deal, and as we go through it, you'll begin to see some of it. Now, again, 30 months, 2.5 every 15 months, which means 2.5, and 6 months of zeros. We rejected. They brought it down to 28 months. We rejected it. They brought it down a little. 28 months. A couple of economic incentives were added to it. We rejected it. At a certain point in time, it got to 2.5 with $500, which represents over a half a wage point in a cash payment to buy 2 more months on the end of the contract with the economic sweeteners that you see in the deal, including increases in longevity pay, increases in maintainer pay, slight increases in night differential, which it isn't so much the amount of money with the night diff, it's the concept that the night differential needs to be increased and that we link it to the wage increases going forward. Now, at that point in time, we brought it back to the executive committee inside the hotel. We debated the virtue of the contract, and in the context of the overall environment that we're in, either we blow the deadline and we continue to bargain and possibly be in a situation where we're 2 years without a contract, accept a more concessionary contract in order to have the framework look a little cleaner in terms of 12-month intervals, or potentially go down the line and get into a fight where we would be in a strike situation. Now, the general assessment of the executive committee was that if the company is putting forth wage increases that exceed inflation, other economic incentives, improvements in the dental, and no concessions, how does that ever leave us in a strike situation? It simply doesn't. So the executive committee voted overwhelmingly, in fact unanimously, to accept the wage proposal and the economic proposal as it is. At that time, we went back down, got a little more value into the contract, and came back, and again, overwhelmingly accepted by the executive committee. We brought it to the executive board. The vote on the executive board, I believe, was 37-6 to present it to the members, and for good reason. Again, we have a contract. While no contract is perfect, this contract certainly accomplishes our goals. Exceed inflation, infuse as much economic value into the deal as possible, resist all concessions, defend our health benefits, and improve the benefits where possible. And we've succeeded in doing all of that. Every inch of that we've done. And in fact, the member survey that we put out almost a year ago now, where officers were going around having face-to-face conversations with the members, those were the most important things to the members. Wage increases that were above inflation, the defense of our health benefits, winning better benefits if we could, and then the last item was actually boots and shoes, which we did correct in this contract. So, without going into further ado, I would like to take any questions if anybody, further delay, I mean, I'd like to take any questions if anybody has any. And I think Richie or Richie should,
Yeah. One question. We got a lot of people here. Hopefully we can get a lot in. Go ahead.
All right, so we're saying that this contract is exceeding inflation, but nobody in this room knows what inflation is going to be in the future. that 1.6 figure is historical.
Yeah. So the 1.6 figure, what?
Inflation, according to Bloomberg, was 2.8.
No, that's incorrect. So inflation, the average inflation for 2016 was 1.6. The inflation began to ebb up at the end of 2016. Even with those numbers in place, we have a 2-year contract, and the 2.5 over the life of this little over 2-year contract is going to exceed inflation. You're right, nobody can look down the corridors of time. And one thing that the state unions did, NYSCOBA in particular, is they took a 5-year deal with 2% annual wage increases with some elements of concessions as well. That would have been completely rejected by us, but we have a little over a 2-year deal with 5% going out, 5% in compounded wage increases going out 1 year from today. And that will get us through inflation. And that's not even beginning to address the other economic incentives that we have. And by the way, before I get to questions, there's one element that I forgot to mention, which is extremely important. And that is, we won for the first time ever a sick leave cash out. Now, let me ask, how many people in the room are within 2-3 years of retirement, potential retirement? So, I wish I could raise my hand in that category as well. So, for historically at Local 100, the sick leave cash out, you had to have 50% of what your balance was. And I'm just going to give you a quick example of the value of this victory that we won. If you have 30 years on a job and you have 40% of your sick time, right now, until this contract's ratified, you would leave those sick days in the bank. 40% of your sick time would be left in the bank, gone forever. Under this contract, when it's ratified, a 30-year transit worker with 40% of their sick leave in the bank, on an average of $30 an hour. Just that's what we average, to $30 an hour. Some people are lower, some people are higher. But at $30 an hour, you'd walk away with $19,700 that would have never been available to you prior to the ratification of this deal. So the sick leave cash out value alone is astronomical. It's an astronomical economic infusion of money into this deal. So, yeah. So on the women's issues, I'm sorry, I'm bouncing all over the place a little bit. On the women's issues, we have a system in 2017 that was designed 100 years ago, and it was not designed to have 5,000 transit women working in our facilities. Last contract, we began to address this. We got commitments from the company to build out comfort rooms, changing rooms, so on and so forth for women, transit workers, but there was really no budgeted money allocated to it. And even so, we succeeded with LaTanya playing the point person on this. We succeeded in making some gains. But in this contract negotiation, the company has agreed to allocate about $12 million worth of personnel alone, hired in-house construction workers, Local 100 construction workers, to build out facilities for our female members. And on top of that, we won medical benefit gains for female members that we've never seen before, and things that I'm not going to get into detail about, and LaTanya could afterward if she wants to, but I'll give you a for instance, and it's a very serious for instance. We have 5,000 women, but every one of us, nearly all of us, have wives and daughters. And the New York City Transit Authority would not cover the reconstructive and cosmetic surgery related to a mastectomy for a woman who had breast cancer, either a member or a wife or daughter of a member. We've now won in this contract a complete reconstructive and cosmetic surgery, including a whole bunch of different elements in order to protect Local 100 women and our families. So we made some big gains for women in this contract. Now, what was the other thing you told me to say? Okay. Yep.
Mr. Edwards?
Two things. Good afternoon. I've seen a couple of these flyers. This is like the third one I've seen.
Yeah.
And in as much as, and I do respect the fact that, you pointed out that this was, a timely contract, it was on time, and some of the other benefits, and the fact that there were no concessions, which I know is, I know better than that. However, My main thing is this, so we only have one question per. With respect to all that I see on the sheet, and all of the gains, all the alleged gains that we've got, the benefits, et cetera, the one thing that I find missing on this, which I find absolutely incredible, is that in this, and I'm sure there's more to it than this, but this is what you put out, there's absolutely no mention whatsoever about one of the things I consider the most important for bus operators in particular, as well as the rest of, whether surface or RTO, and that is the question of assaults. There is absolutely nothing mentioned. Now, grant you, all of these items that you listed, it's beautiful flyer, but when you show us that these are the things, John, that I don't know if the members asked you for these things, but I'm sure that some members must have asked you for better protection for our operators in particular, those of us that are most vulnerable to these assaults. The number of assaults are so much higher. Statistically, I can't tell you what they are right now because they keep moving every day. But ask anybody who's been down to the IME and how many of their colleagues they recognize in one room, just one room. So my question to you is this. In light of, I know that you did probably the best that you could given the circumstances and all of the different variables with this contract and the authority wanting one thing and we wanting another thing. One of the things that I find absolutely amazing is that there's not a single mention in any of these negotiated items that actually speak to the question of protecting the operators, male, female, conductors, whoever, from the public who seem to have taken this approach that it is open season on transit employees, and if I feel like it, I can assault you, whether I spit on you, pummel you, kick you, pull a pistol on you, whatever.
Okay, so in the last contract negotiation, not this one, but the last one, we got an agreement from the company that they would install protective partitions on all the buses, right? The partitions have had limited success. They haven't been a failure, but they haven't granted the amount of protection that we would have liked. So, absent outside of the contractual parameters of bargaining and whatnot, there continues to be an ongoing dialogue between me, Earl Phillips, others, with the MTA, the City of New York, Police Department, and others about trying to come up with a multifaceted solution to bus operator assaults. We recognize that the installation of the partitions is not the end-all game of the assaults. Believe it or not, the assaults on bus operators went down slightly from where they were before the installation of the partitions. So the partitions have worked, but they unto themselves